COVID pandemic is still there. Cases are on the rise. Most of the people are still working from home. And there is no sign of this pandemic settling down. What to do? How to entertain yourself? Streaming to the rescue. Well, welcome to the 4th episode of our monthly series WAT'CHA Streaming, where I will be talking about the list of shows and documentaries that I watched in the month of April. But before getting into the video, please feel free to like and subscribe to my channel and post your comments in the comment section of the video. Your love is deeply appreciated. So without further ado, here goes. First, let's talk about the two documentaries. This is a documentary film. Parts of the documentary have been reenacted by seasoned actors based on actual facts and actual conversations that were tapped by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. It talks about how the elite and the wealthy class of America would go to any lengths to secure admission in prestigious universities of their choice through bribes with the university trustees, through cheating in the entrance examinations, and through sports scholarship by faking their representation in high school sports. The documentary film talks about Rick Singer, who made millions or probably billions of dollars through cheating by being the chief facilitator of securing admissions for the children of the wealthy. It is indeed jaw-dropping, as I could not imagine the ways and means of cheating through the entire admissions process. Watch it. It is brilliant and an eye-opener. You can watch Operation Varsity Blues, the college admissions scandal, streaming on Netflix. This is a Robbery, the world's biggest art heist, is a 4-part documentary series that talks about the robbery of several pieces of prestigious and rare art worth $500 million. The place of crime, the Isabella Stewart Gardner Art Museum in Boston, Massachusetts. On 18th March 1990, two men dressed as Boston police officers gained entry to the museum in the wee hours of the night, around 1:30 a.m. on the grounds of local disturbance, and stole 13 rare and prestigious pieces of art in a matter of 81 minutes. Who stole the pieces of art? I mean, was it just an inside job, or was it connected to a mob or a mafia, or was it part of something really big? Were the robbers caught? Were they put in jail? Did they recover the pieces of art? You will get answers to all these questions in these 4 episodes. And whatever happened to those suspects, this case became tangled and complex over a period of time. It is an interesting watch. It is riveting. It is suspenseful. It is thrilling. Highly recommended. Don't miss it. This is a Robbery. The world's biggest art heist is streaming on Netflix. Now let's go to the series. Mrs. America is a 9-episode limited series loosely based on true events. Based in 1970s, the show highlights the nationwide implementation or ratification of the Equal Rights Amendment that takes shape during those times. The Equal Rights Amendment was proposed to design to guarantee equal legal rights regardless of the sex, with respect to property, employment, divorce, and other legal matters. A certain section of conservative women led by activist Phyllis Schlafly was opposing passing the Equal Rights Amendment and was getting unexpected backlash for the same. Was she able to successfully oppose the implementation of the Equal Rights Amendment? Find out. Mrs. America is streaming on Disney Plus Hotstar. The Serpent is an 8-episode limited series loosely based on true events set in the 1970s. Am I being repetitive? The show is based on the crimes of a French serial killer, Charles Shobraj, a man of Indian and Vietnamese descent. Most of the story takes place in Bangkok, Thailand, and other parts of Asia. Charles, along with his girlfriend slash secretary slash partner Marie-Andre, lures young backpackers, befriends them, offers them place to stay, and in turn drugs and poisons them and steals their money and passport and identities. He is then somehow able to put his photo and his girlfriend's photo on these passports and is able to travel around the world and in turn makes money by selling stolen gems. A Dutch diplomat, Herman Nippenberg, starts investigating the murders of Dutch tourists and starts unraveling the mystery behind these killings. What happens to Charles Shobraj? What happens to Marie-Andre? The narrative is somewhat a little confusing when it jumps between different time periods, but so much is covered of his life that it makes it for an interesting watch. You can watch The Serpent on Netflix. Apple TV was a welcome addition to the two already existing streaming giants Netflix and Amazon Prime when it launched itself on November 1st, 2019. Dickinson was one of the series that premiered on its launch date. Apple TV works in a different way than Netflix and Amazon. With Apple TV, the show drops one episode per week. Pandemic hit us in March 2020 and all we could do was stay home. That's when I started watching shows on Apple TV Plus. I watched season 1 of Dickinson in April 2020 and this month I watched season 2. Dickinson talks about the life of Emily Dickinson, one of the most famous literary poets in 19th century America. Emily Dickinson grew in a society where women were always considered second to men. The sole purpose of women was to do the household work, get married, and have children. Although not much of her life has been documented in reality, it is a funny take on how Emily Dickinson must have led her life in a society with constraints, only to hide her fine talent of being a budding poet. It looks extremely out of place and extremely funny when the characters that actually belong to the 19th century spoke the language of today, the lingo of today. This season pursues Emily's dream of getting published in a local newspaper and become famous as a result. Will her poems be published? Will she become famous and popular? These are some of the questions that may be answered in this season. I thought it was a light-hearted watch and an escapist entertainment. You can watch Dickinson Season 2 on Apple TV+. Season 1 of Serpent premiered a month after the launch of Apple TV+. I watched the Season 1 in April 2020 during the pandemic. The show was renewed for a second season, which I watched this month after all the episodes were aired. The show explores the trauma experienced by a couple, Dorothy and Sean, after the loss of their 13-week-old son. The couple jointly undergoes therapy by bringing home a lifelike doll when Dorothy goes into psychotic shock. Things turn weird when the family hires a nanny, Leanne, to take care of the doll. But then, is Leanne who you think she is? Family becomes increasingly suspicious about her, and so they try exploring her background. It's in this quest for Leanne's history that makes the show increasingly creepy and definitely thrilling. Coming from the genius called Manoj Knight Shyamalan, who has brought great psychological thriller movies like The Sixth Sense, Unbreakable, The Village, Glass, I was in parts scared and nervous at the same time, waiting for something or someone to pop up from the corner of the frame and give us a jump scare. But even though there are no jump scares, there is a lot of eeriness attached to it. I loved both season 1 and season 2 of Serpent. Highly recommended watch. The show has been renewed for season 3 and I'm looking forward to it. You can watch Serpent only on Apple TV+. For All Mankind Season 2 is an alternate history science fiction show that deals with the space race between America and Russia. Both the countries were constantly competing with each other to make history by sending people in outer space to land on the moon. Season 2 takes place 10 years after the concluding events of Season 1. Jamestown is America's space station on the moon and is expanded to accommodate more astronauts and equipment. Russians have also established their space station on the moon and are doing their own research in a different part. Season 2 takes the rivalry between America and Russia to the next level as both the nations try to violate each other's space. It depicts a situation where one is made to think, what if the space race never ended? Season 1 of this show premiered on the launch day of Apple TV+. I watched the show after all episodes were aired in April 2020 during pandemic. I loved the show particularly because it was different from what is being currently offered on various streaming platforms, and also because I am fascinated by whatever is related to space. Loved the season 2 as much as season 1. You can watch both seasons of For All Mankind streaming on Apple TV+. So did you watch the mentioned documentaries and shows? What do you think about these shows? Please drop in your comments in the comment section of my video. Also, please show me some love by clicking on the like and subscribe button on my channel. Please share your recommendations of what shows or documentaries that I should watch in the future. In the next video of this series, I will talk about what I watched in the month of May. I look forward to seeing you all in my next video. Until then, stay home, stay safe, and catch you later.